Let's talk about cars. No, this time we're not talking about Porsche or Ferrari. Let's talk about the ones that make me wonder if the designers slept badly before designing the cars. Here are the 10 ugliest cars of all time. 10th place, Mercedes-Benz A-Class. The first generations of the A-Class were anything but beautiful. Since 2012, however, the compact car has been impressive. 9th place, Audi A2. Of course, the A2 should not be missing in this ranking. Here the benefit clearly took precedence over the design. With a drag coefficient of 0.252, the compact car can easily keep up with modern electric cars. And the Audi A2 was way ahead of its time in other respects, too. Probably a bit too far, because in 2005 production was stopped after 6 years. 8th place, Chrysler PT Cruiser. The compact car was also available as a convertible. Visually, the PT Cruiser is reminiscent of the cars of the 1920s and 1930s. In 2010, after 10 years of construction and a facelift, it was over. 7th place, Ford Edsel Villager. At the end of the 1950s, the Ford Motor Company introduced the subsidiary brand Edsel. From 1958, this went with the Villager, among other things, to catch customers. However, the brand and its models were not really popular at the time. But that was much more due to the unusually high oval radiator grille, which reminded some critics of a toilet seat. After 3 years it was over with Edsel and the Villager, an expensive flop for Ford that almost caused the US auto giant to collapse. 6th place, Alfa Romeo SZ. Not pretty, but expensive. The Alfa Romeo SZ cost an incredible $55,000 in the early 1990s. The sports car was also limited to 1,000 units. Did the Italians know that the sports car wasn't particularly successful? 5th place, Pontiac Aztek. From 2001 to 2005, Pontiac built this beauty. After all, the crossover SUV sold around 1,115,000 times. The Aztek also achieved particular fame through the TV series, Breaking Bad, in which it is driven by the main character Walter White. However, the SUV gets damaged in every episode. 4th place, SsangYong Rodius. It wasn't quite enough for the Korean to get on the podium. The same also applies to an independent design. The cooler is somewhat reminiscent of the PT Cruiser, while the rear was borrowed from Mercedes. An idea that you probably only had when the car was already finished, because it looks like it was added later. Nevertheless, the van was built in 2 generations from 2004 to 2019. 3rd place, Nissan S-Cargo. What looks like a model car for children was actually built by Nissan from 1989 to 1992. Only the designers and managers of the Asian car manufacturer know exactly why. 2nd place. No, this is not an optical illusion. Commuter car's Tang T600 is in fact only 99 centimeters wide. What may help when looking for a parking space looks as if a Smart had been washed too hot or a minivan saved from the scrap press. But the design isn't the Tango T600's only problem. A staggering $121,000 is due for the small electric car. But you also get 600 kilowatts of power. 1st place, Fiat Multipla. The victory clearly goes to the Italian. Although Fiat tried to save the model with a facelift, it didn't really make the van more beautiful. In 2010, the Multipla was discontinued after 11 years. The question remains, how could this design ever hit the streets?